Wow! I walked in, I said, wow, he's not even Dagestani.
Like, I was like, it's over. Just let me...
Yeah.
Like, let me give it a chance to knock this guy out. I almost got him. Like, I love Black's barbecue, so I guess it's considered an exhibition match as opposed to like a professional match. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it. So
Answer a question if I ask him one. You know, and in person, he's just a legit dude. Once a year, I'll have the Britney moment breakdown and shave my beard compared to shaving my whole head.
If he fights Max Holloway, that's gonna end up even worse off for him, I think.
I'm sure you've heard the news, but not like this. Get ready to dive into what's happening in the world of MMA. We're your go-to spot for fight night predictions, fighter interviews, and all the behind-the-scenes action you crave. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Give it up for your host, the one and only Panda.
What's up, everybody? Daddy from PandaMMANews. And here we have Big Slop Shot. Ah, that was a better sound for you. All right, guys. So this weekend we have UFC 305, Adesanya versus DDP. We normally wouldn't give you guys the whole card predictions, just main card, but we have some special interest in who's coming up first. So first fight of the night is Stuart Nicole versus Jesus Aguilar. If any of you guys have seen any of our prior videos, you know that we had Stuart Nicole on. He was one of our first interviews. He's also a Australian Khabib, so I think we're both gonna side with Stuart Nicole on this.
Yeah, without a doubt, dude. The guy's gonna fucking be running up that ladder, running up the ranks.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know who he is, you guys need to fucking get in the know, because I guarantee you, he's getting it done here. And even your boy, the Guru, said that he's siding with Stuart.
So he doesn't have a picture next to his name right now, but you guys will get the picture after this fight. You guys will get it.
You will. As soon as you see Jesus Aguilar on his back with his leg getting scooped up like fucking Conor McGregor, you're gonna realize real quick what life is about.
You're gonna be like, "Wow, that was superior wrestling."
Wow! I walked in, I said, "Wow, he's not even Dagestani."
He said, "Maybe we don't build the wall. I don't know."
Maybe he'll dry hump our wall. Dry hump it down. All right, so the next fight on the card is Song Kinnan versus Rick Glenn. I'm just going to go home field advantage here. I'm going to go Rick Glenn on this fight.
I got your back on that one, too. I think the exact same thing.
Okay, so we're in agreement so far. Next, we have Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes. Alex Reyes, he's had a few good recent fights. Let me just pull up his past opponents real quick. So his last opponent was Charlie Campbell. He lost to Charlie Campbell. Looks like okay. Actually, that was a KO round one. I think that's his UFC. That's his UFC career so far. I don't think he's had another fight. So, all right, he's coming off of a KO loss. I take what I said back. I have the other guy. I have Tom Nolan, Tom Holland's brother.
Moving on.
I was waiting for your pick, Big Slop.
I'm taking the guy that didn't get knocked out in the first round on his debut.
So you're taking Tom Holland, or whatever the fuck his name is, Nolan Holland, whatever. Next on the first fight of the prelim card, we have Jack Jenkins versus Herbert Burns. I think here I'm going to side with Burns. He's got big shoes to fill, but I think he can do it. Let me just see real quick. Jack Jenkins. This is his UFC debut. Oh wait, no, it's not. JK. Just kidding, guys. He's coming off of a loss to Chape Marscal from last weekend. He fought him on UFC 293. That was his last fight. So he hasn't fought in almost a year.
Damn. That's even more reason to go Herbert Burns.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Herbert Burns on that one. You guys aren't going to get too much in-depth analysis until we start getting further down the card. Next one is
Gilbert's brother?
Yeah, it is Gilbert's brother.
Nice. Yeah, he's got some shoes to fill right there.
Yeah, well, Gilbert Burns is also coming off a knockout to Jack Della Benedetta. So, anyways, next fight on the card is Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos. I'm actually kind of excited about this fight, not because of the fight style or because I'm looking forward to the fight. It's because I'm looking forward to Luana Santos dancing after. So I'm gonna go with Luana Santos so I can potentially see a dance after. Little backstory: Luana Santos is a black belt in judo, so she's kind of the new Ronda Rousey in the UFC. She looked great her last fight, not just physically but also fight wise. She looked great. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Luana Santos. Who you got?
And this is where we're going to disagree here. I'm going to go Casey O'Neill. She's fought say what you will, man. She went on a 9-fight win streak, and then she ends up fighting Jennifer Maia, which we both know that's a tough fight for any girl in that division. And then she loses.
But Jennifer Maia's not in the UFC anymore.
This is when it was UFC. This is when she was, and then she lost recently to Irene Lipsky due to an armbar.
So she's on a losing streak.
Yeah, I think this is where she corrects that course, bruh.
So you're going with a girl on a losing streak, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think that she's got home field advantage. She's out of Extreme Couture, so she's got that wrestling down. She's going to be a grappler, and she's got the striking to match it. So yeah, I do. I'm going to go Casey O'Neill here.
That's a brave pick. I think you're wrong, but we are going to find out this Saturday. Next one we got is Joshua Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos. So let me just pull up Joshua's last fight. He won he lost by decision. His last fight, his fight before that, he lost by decision. So okay, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. And then his opponent, Ricardo Ramos, he lost his last fight also, submission against Julian Arroja. He also lost the fight before that to Charles Jourdain, and he won his fight before that. So they're both on a 2-fight losing streak. So it's kind of a coin toss here.
I'm taking Josh.
I think I'm going to side with you on this, mostly because I don't follow featherweight. Actually, no, I do follow featherweight. I'm thinking flyweight. I don't follow flyweight that much, but featherweight, yeah. So I'm going to go with Josh. Yeah, I agree with you on that. So that brings us to our next fight, which is Junior Tafa versus a Valter Walker. I'm gonna go Junior Tafa just because he's related to fucking Big Tafa, so I like him when you call me Big Tafa.
Yeah, boy. Hey, but I'm gonna go Valter Walker here, dude. I'm going Texas Walk 'em down Ranger, boy. Dude, 11-1.
That's just because of who we had on the show, or who we're having on this show. The guy who was on the Walker show, the Kryptonian.
Listen, guy.
Dude.
He's got the nickname the Clean Monster for a reason, okay?
Is it because he has OCD and does crack?
He's the he's the Mr. Clean of the division, okay? He's about to clean up shop. I think Tafa is going to be looking like some Laffy Tafa at the end of that fight.
I see what you try to do, but I don't like it.
But shit happens, homie.
Yeah, especially after you eat Taco Bell. That's a given. But so that brings us to the main card. First fight of the main card, we have Li Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. Normally I would go with Li Jingliang, but he hasn't fought since he lost to Hamzat, which was 2 years ago. So he's coming off of an inactive break. He always has power in that right hand, though. Carlos is bigger. He's 6'1". Li Jingliang is 6 foot. Tafa also has a 6.5-inch reach advantage. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Tafa, or not Tafa. Prates on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that too. He's also the younger fighter as well. So
yeah, and he's active, or at least more active than 2-year break.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the next fight on the card, which is our only heavyweight fight of the evening, I believe. It is Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I have Rozenstruik in this, and the reason being I normally would always go with Tai, but Tai is on a 4-fight losing streak, and Rozenstruik is not a brawler. Rozenstruik is, I think he came from Glory originally. He's a kickboxer.
Sorry, I was just taking a shoey.
It looked like you were just smelling your shoe.
I was taking a shoey out of my out of my
smelling
pandas,
salts.
out of the forbidden salts.
Okay, so you're going Tai Tuivasa, I take it.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going with the guy on a 4-fight losing streak. I'm going with the guy on a winning streak. So we'll see how that differs. So that brings us to the next fight, and I almost feel like I'm pretty sure we're both going to agree on this. Dan Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. Dan Hooker has been looking fantastic lately. He's coming off of a win against who was it? Jalen Turner. And Jalen Turner almost had him finished in that fight, and Jalen Turner ended up giving up some ground, and Dan Hooker ended up getting it done. He got a decision win. Before that, he fought Claudio Pulis. He knocked him out round 2. So he's on a 2-fight winning streak right now. And I think the fact that it's his hometown advantage, he's got Izzy, he's got Kai Kara France in the card. He trains with them. I think he's gonna pull this one off.
I think the only thing he's gonna pull off is a condom out of his butt, because I think Gamrot's gonna handle him, dude. We're talking
let's not forget Gamrot arguably lost to Jalen Turner, who lost to Dan Hooker.
That's MMA math, bro. It never pencils out.
It's MMA math, but it's the most accurate way to get to a point of view in this space. And here's the thing. Dan Hooker, once again, he's the same size as Jalen Turner almost. He's like an inch or two shorter. And Gamrot had that hard of a time against Jalen Turner, who's not as good of a striker as Dan Hooker, obviously, because Dan Hooker pulled off the win.
If you're going to put a gun to my head, I'm going Gamrot.
Well, I'm not putting a gun to your head. I'm going to put something else to your head, but I won't say it here, brother. That brings us to the co-main. Kai Kara France versus Steve Erceg. Kai Kara France, I would give him the hometown advantage, but I think Steve Erceg is coming off some major confidence from going to decision with Pantoja. And in many people's opinion, he beat Pantoja. So I think he's going to ride that wave. He's bigger than Kai Kara France. He's one of the hardest hitters in flyweight. I'm siding with Steve Erceg on this.
Same, dude. I feel the exact same way about it. He looks so good against Pantoja, and I'm one of those people. I thought he won that fight. But you know how it is when you're facing a champion. It's really hard, unless it's considered like absolute dominant, unanimous, they're going to give it to the champion. You have to prove that you took it. And so even though he really would have won, and if it wasn't a championship fight, his hand got raised. Yeah, no. Kai Kara France, he's nothing to scoff at, but Steve Erceg, he's hungry. He's already had a taste he's had a taste of blood, you know. He's ready to roll.
He's got that used tampon in his mouth. He's ready to roll. He's got that taste of blood, dude. He's just a shark in the waters of a toilet at a concert. But anyways, the main event, we have Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. If you guys watch the show, you already know who we got. But this is the most like this fight represents mixed martial arts, because this fight could win in all 3 ways: submission, knockout, or it could go to decision.
Yeah,
and
I think that Izzy gave himself enough time before he got back in. He did a really good job of not just being eager to get back in there and try to chase the belt. And I think Dricus will be, although he shouldn't be looking at it this way, I think he's going to be judging off of his performance against Strickland, where, you know, Strickland did everything perfect, but I think Izzy didn't take that fight very seriously either.
And Izzy didn't dislike Strickland. Izzy hates Dricus.
Right? Hopefully,
so I think that's gonna play into his training routine leading up to this fight a lot more.
Sometimes that could be a bad thing, though, but I think Izzy's headstrong. I don't, you know, and some guys get in their head so much.
Headstrong.
Well, what I mean by, did he really?
Yeah, he walked when he fought Sean Strickland. Headstrong, I take you on. Clearly, it didn't work out very well, but he walked out to it.
Yeah, that backfired, didn't it? Didn't it?
It sure did. But yeah, so that's that's our picks for UFC 305. It's actually a pretty awesome card. I'm extremely looking forward to it. All you casuals online, I see a lot of casuals online on X specifically who try to say UFC is garbage because they have Dagestani privilege and all this shit. No one's looking forward to 305. I think you're going to be proven fucking wrong when pay-per-view numbers come out. I think you're going to see that everyone's looking forward to 305. We've been card starved for at least 2 weeks now. I think people are going to buy this. People are going to tune in, and I can't wait to rub it in people's faces on X.
Yeah, me too, man. I know your little Twitter fingers are going to be on fire after that shit. You're going to be fucking just, you said what? You said what?
Yeah, oh, they definitely will be. They definitely will be. But so we have 2 interviews with you guys today. We have John Davis, who is the champion of middleweight and power slap. We also have the Kryptonian Alan Klingbeil. Alan Klingbeil, a little backstory. He was on the show Walker with Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. He played Sam. It was a pretty cool conversation. Sadly, I didn't get to take any part of it because I was having extreme technical difficulties. My computer kicked me out. I couldn't join back in. Luckily, Big Slop over here was able to carry my load on his back. Not literally, but
Little bitch over here had to just sit back and cuck it out. He had to watch it happen. He got that Ian treatment. I was the nutritionist.
Hey, you can't top what I just said. What I just said was the most ideal thing to say. You carried my load on your back, but anyways. In traditional fashion, guys, just like in Power Slap or UFC, we're gonna start with the challenger, Alan Klingbeil. You guys are gonna see his interview first, and then we'll get into John Davis. So, enjoy, I guess, and yeah, don't cuck.
Whoa, dude, I thought that grinder was broke.
Not anymore. Thanks to Avalis Co., I was able to get the parts I need in order to repair my grinder so my business can go on as usual.
What else do they sell parts for?
Well, funny you should ask. They sell parts for your broken tools, sex toys, garden equipment, even parts for your computer so you can get back to the games of Halo with your virgin friends.
Okay, tell me more. Where do I purchase?
You can see what they have available exclusively at avalis-co.com. That's AVLIS-CO.com. Check them out to get your tools to entertain those certain family jewels back in working order today.
Oh yeah, so that always interests me. We just had Trap Daddy Gambino on, and he was in a couple movies too. And so I'm always curious, like, coming from a small town, like how do you get started in like acting? How do you get into a role where all of a sudden you're on the show The Walker? How does that start for you?
I think you really just have to dive in and just like go for it. Really, like for me, it was like a really, I don't know how you want to look at it. It was I wouldn't call it luck, right? Like this is something I pursued for a long time when I was younger. I did acting when I was a kid. I did acting when I was in high school. I was a missionary for a while, and we did a lot of skits that I put together, and we had to go and act through like English high schools, which I'll tell you, that puts you through the fire any day of the week, because English high school kids are like the absolute worst when it comes to like entertainment. They will blank face you the whole time, and you're just like, awesome, cool.
Like, I think they're vibing.
Yeah. Oh man, it's terrible. So yeah, just like absolute crickets. So if you want to be eviscerated with your self esteem, definitely do that. But yeah, no, regardless. So over time, I like did all these casting opportunities. A lot of them fell through. One day, like it was during COVID, I was bartending at the time, and I was like losing a lot of shifts because of COVID, basically. And I was like, crap, I need to do something else. And I was trying to get creative, and I saw this ad from Vicky Boom Casting was what it was. And so they were like, we need some extras. And I was like, oh, sweet, that's that new show that Jared Padalecki's going to be on. And I was like, so bummed that Supernatural had ended. Sorry, if you guys are trying to get a word in there, I'm kind of chatty sometimes, so I apologize.
No, go for it.
So, okay, cool. So I got that sketchy text message later. Like I created my profile, applied. I got a sketchy text message like 2 or 3 days later. And I was like, well, I'm either going to get my kidney stolen and my wife will get my life insurance policy, or I'll be on a cool show with Jared Padalecki. So I go, to be honest, right? They're like, yeah, just show up to this address. And I was like, okay, like that sounds cool. I think this is real. So it was like, they sent me like a weird email after that too. And it was just like someone had like drawn on like Google Maps. And I was like, this cannot be real. And so I went, they used my car in the shot too. I got there like, hey, do you want to get 25 extra bucks if we use your car? I was like, hell yeah, man, let's go. um, and anyway, so needless to say, it was right next to the DPS headquarters, Texas in Austin, and so I was like, oh well. I mean, if I get shot there, I'm probably gonna live at least, you know. So like, if like someone's trying to steal
They
from me,
might
but
hear
I
it.
still up. Yeah, man, it's just like I don't know what I'm doing. So I get there, huge production. They literally have stopped traffic. Like there's a bar across the street that they use. There's Texas DPS headquarters, and I mean I've never seen someone put together a stage so fast in my life. Up at that point, I'd seen productions, but these guys are like just freaking jack dudes. They're just like carrying these beams around. It's like, yeah, we got this, and I mean like a NASCAR pit stop. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, no, that's basically it. I got there. I spent like half the day. I was just chit chatting with people, and I had to go to the bathroom. And I guess they were going to use me as a principal for that one, but I lucked out because they're like, if we had used you for that principal role, which was like a waiter role, I couldn't have come back as a Texas Ranger. So like later at the end of the episode, they're like, hey, would you be interested in coming back? I'm like, I mean, yeah, if you guys need me. Got a phone call later. It was like, hey, we'd love to have you as a regular Texas Ranger. What that entails is something we'll figure out down the road. And I got to know everybody. I mean, they had I want to say it's the CW, like maybe it was like Viacom CBS president out there a couple of times. Like they're very serious about this production. So you get to like shake hands and do all these other things. And some people like you, some people don't. But yeah, no, that's how I got started, and it just kind of took off from there. But there was a lot of work, leading up until that point. So that's kind of
Sounds
how.
like it.
Yeah. Anyway, there you
So
go.
you go from, sorry, Richard, hold on. So you go from basically starting out in high school, you're doing acting and stuff like that, and then that transitions into that. So your life, has it been full of sketchy phone calls? Because I bet when you got the call for Power Slap, you're going, okay, is this another one of those? Am I going to get my liver taken out, or is this a real deal?
Dude, yes, 100%. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I try to tell that to people and they're always like, "What?" and then like kind of skirt over it. But I'm like, no, for real. Like and for me, like at this point I was already like a cyber defense operator, right? So I was like, at the back of my mind, they make you so paranoid about this stuff, right? So I was like, this is either a near peer adversary that's hacked me because I didn't tell anybody I applied, right? I was like, I'm just gonna apply and see what happens because I do mixed martial arts and all this other stuff. I was like, this is cool. Dana White says it's gonna be awesome. I'm down, bro. Like, I'm down to clown. I could get some FaceTime with some of these cool people and stuff like that, and maybe throw it on an acting reel. And needless to say, yeah, sure enough, I get a text message. It's like, hey, do you want to do this? I mean, I'm telling you, I did everything I know how to do in order to make sure that this was who they say they were, and I was like, well, this is either literally the government of China like trying to hack me and steal my identity, or this is really who they are. Sure enough, I show up, everything works out. They send me to get an MRI, like randomly, they send me to go get blood tests, and I'm like, I mean, this could be like I might get abducted at some point, or I'm going to be on power slap. I can't tell. And then, of course, I show up and everything's fine. But yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. I mean, I would say so, and I think I was blessed to have done like the military leading up to that because there's a lot of like facing movements and stuff that you have to do as part of your basic military training, and then when you're in your technical school, you have to continue to do those things. And I had like 8 months of technical school, so I was literally like facing movements every single day. So that stays in you, and I think because of that, that kind of helped me do that transition. Otherwise, because like the very first strike I gave in Power Slap, I pivoted hardcore. And it was like, I mean, I'm so used to throwing a roundhouse, right? And that's like how you generate that power with that roundhouse is through the pivot, like from a Taekwondo perspective, right? Like, so, and that's how I prefer to throw my roundhouse kicks. Are we still good or?
I can hear you. We might have lost him.
Okay.
It's still going though. Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going or you want me to wait?
Yeah. You can keep going.
Okay. Well, yeah, anyway, so that's how you generate the power with the, and not to say that, you don't generate power through that, like with a more of a Muay Thai kick, like that. You still generate power with a little bit of a pivot, but it's not quite the same as. So for me, that was really difficult. But I would say due to the facing movements and things like that, kind of leading up to it, that kind of helped me out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been something we've been curious about because you generate that force pivoting. So it's like, how do you? I'm sure time over time you start to develop a technique without having to pivot to like transfer that weight and just boom, dude. So So you just had a win back in April. What's next? Do they have a date for you? Do they have any names?
Nope. I'll be on the show. So some people have seen me, and so I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say that because they sent me like a promotional thing to put out there that I've already done. But yeah, so you'll see me on the show at some point, which I'll have I guess it's considered an exhibition match as opposed to like a professional match. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it. So it's very good, and
Yeah,
they've
don't
kind of
spoil
promoted
it.
the background a little bit. Yeah, it's good. But I try to be more of an entertainer with that one as opposed to just like going out there and competing because I was like, that's what I'm here for, right? But yeah, I don't know. There's another match coming up, and if you're in it, if you're not, like I'm not gonna lie, half of my calls have been like they're either like 30 to 2 months ahead of time, 30 days to 2 months ahead of time, or it's like 2 weeks ahead of time to like 8 days where they're like, hey, do you want to come out and do this? So they're like, sure, let me try and put leave in for the military. But yeah, anyway, so that's
Yeah.
basically it.
Okay. Are you hoping it translates over to anything else like UFC or Bellator or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dana White has like on and off like squashed hopes of that. So he like early on he said, "Sure, yeah, that's great." And even on my online profile, it literally says like Alan Klingbeil hopes to become a UFC champion. And like if you go on there and you type in Power Slap, they have like striker profiles, right? And that's literally what I put when I joined. So I thought it was really interesting. Later, he said, I don't have any intention of like allowing people to do UFC fights. I want them to do Power Slap long term, and then but it's evolving, and we have Paige Van Zandt coming in. We have one of my good buddies, KLE. He's a Bellator fighter. I think he's still technically like a free agent, more or less, that could compete in there. And I know he's done a promotion recently, and we have Francesca. I'm really bad with her last name, but she does matches. So it's been on and off. Like, can you do it? Can you not do it? And technically, I'm not like per contract. I can't really just go about being a part of a promotion. I have to get their permission in order to do that. So I've been training like crazy on and off again. Some of it's strength training, and most recently, I've been doing more of aesthetics, strength and conditioning because I'm doing this Mr. USA competition. Mostly to one because it's kind of cool, but number two, like it's a good opportunity for like acting and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's I don't know if that answers your question at all, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it totally does. So it sounds like they don't do a very good job of letting you know ahead of time whether or not you're going to be fighting. And as far as Dana allowing you to like transfer over to UFC at least, he says in one hand he's like, yeah, it sounds like that could be a potential for you, but in the other hand he's going, no, we don't actually want Power Slap. We want them to be long term. We don't want them to transfer over basically.
Well, and I'm going to give it to him, right? Because like at the end of the day, this is a brand new sport. It's like, can we afford to allow these guys to transition? Like I get it, like millions of dollars poured into this. It's probably going to be $1 billion company by the end of next year, if not sooner. So I get like from that aspect, like business aspect, can I release this guy to go and do this fight, or can I transition them? And like, how's that going to like, are people like, there's a lot of dynamics there too, because like early on, like there were a lot of UFC fighters that were like freaking eyeing us when we walked into the UFC Apex and the PI, and they're just like, you don't belong here, sort of stuff. And now we're like super cool. So it's just like, I don't know, it's one of those just ever transforming sort of situations, and I don't hold it against them by any means. Like some days they have fighters, somebody gets injured, they have to reorganize the match. It's like they're trying to map out all these different matches. Like they're going to do Texas and California. So it's like, I might not fight in this one. They might be projecting that I fight here, but then this guy drops out and they're like, oh, we're going to put Alan here. And then it's like, well, we were going to use him here, but now we're going to use him here. So I'm not a part of that. But yeah, so it's like, do we all wish we could? But I mean, look at the UFC, the same thing, right? It's like UFC fighters half of the time, like some guy supposed to be the headliner, and then he gets injured, and then they got to replace him with somebody else, and it just trickles all the way down. So,
Yeah, like a Hamzat.
yeah,
That guy is notorious for being that guy. So yeah, thank God there's Robert Whitakers in the world that'll step up on a moment's notice, and those type of guys. Yeah. So yeah, you're right though. That does make a lot of sense. You put a lot of money into a company, you're getting people bought in, and they're working up the ranks and creating a name for themselves early. It's exciting. You get to be a part of that. Is there any kind of layout for you as far as like, hey, if you get this next fight, like how soon could you realize potentially being face to face with the champion of the division?
Man, I'm within inches, and I knew that this last time around too, and I really wanted that knockout. And I don't know if you saw it last match, but they kind of I was so mad because they like didn't call his flinching, and I knew why. I was like, they don't want this guy to DQ, and then they literally DQ him before they. I still could have hit him. Like I was like, it's over. Just
Yeah,
let me give a chance to knock this guy out. I almost got him. Like
yeah.
so,
Third round,
I don't know.
repeated fouls.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like it's about knockouts, it's about personality, and I have it, and it's there, and they off and on. It's kind of like a maybe, and then maybe not, And so you got Russell, you got Austin Turpin would still probably be in that mixture somewhere. I think he's got to win one before they'll toss him back that direction. But shout out to Austin, love you, dude. But and then Vern's coming off of 2 knockouts, so I believe he's probably going to get the next one if I had to guess. I mean, I don't want that to happen. Like I've made it very clear, I would want to fight the Wolverine. Do I deserve it with some of these guys getting knockouts last time? I don't know. But I feel like I got cheated a long time ago when I had to fight Austin, and I'm not afraid to say that I earned the number 1 slot. Freaking A, man! I was like, that was my fight. so. Uh, so I still hold that. I'm number 5. I got a great record, great personality. I'm very entertaining. Just give me the fight, man. That's
Yeah,
how I
man.
feel. Bro.
They gotta let you get up there with the cowboy hat on and some shooters.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Walk
Oh
out to
yeah.
that old town road. I'm gonna ride to the, you know what I mean? Just get out there,
Yeah.
just ready to go. Hey man,
Oh,
being a
bro.
Texas cat, what's Texas's number 1 barbecue? I want to hear from you.
This is a loaded question, man. Like you're gonna offend somebody no matter what you say. I'm gonna go with Black's. I love Black's barbecue. So yeah.
Okay. I haven't had that one yet. I've spent some time in Fort Worth,
Okay.
and so I think I'm pretty sure I was close to Austin. I ate at a place called Hurtado's, which was pretty high up there at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great
That
stuff.
kind of like a Mexicali or Tex-Mex.
Yeah. It's good
Yeah,
stuff though.
yeah. Oh man, they had these things called what are they called? Like like they're called like shotguns or something, like shotgun shells.
Oh yeah, yeah, those are amazing, man. I
That's
love,
so
yeah,
Texas.
yes, little jalapeno poppers with some cheese and
Ooh.
some meat in there. Yeah, wrapped with like
Oh,
bacon, all that other jazz. Yeah, if you, a little jalapeno jelly in there or something too, a little cream cheese. Yeah, no, I don't get me started. There's so many ways to make those, man. Yeah.
do you get to eat with freedom, or do you have to watch your weight to make sure you can make the light heavyweight?
Well, no, I think like I'm usually within range on that. Like that's not a problem right now. I think the hardest thing for me is like I've been having to like cut a lot of weight for acting, and so I'm like trying to maintain my muscle weight. So I'm always hovering around 200, which has kind of been a big deal. Like this last match, they were kind of upset that I was like 198.5 on the weigh-in day. And I was like, guys, I got this. um, yeah, it worked out, but yeah, that's basically it. It's like I don't know what to tell you guys. I have to look very toned, and they want like they don't want like a ton of fat here and stuff like that. Because you get on camera and you look a little bit more bloated. So yeah, I don't know, man. So that's basically it. It's like I am very like I eat lean meat, specific vegetables. And then, like, occasionally I'll have Whataburger, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I try, like, even if I get something unhealthy, I try to maintain, like, just eating the healthier parts of it, even if it's still, like, unhealthy or whatever. So, and that strictly is due to acting, because it would probably benefit me to gain 5 to 10 pounds for Power Slap, to be honest. Yeah.
That's actually hilarious to me that it's not even the sport making you cut the weight; it's acting. Oh man. Hey, but you know what? You're never gonna miss a weight cut. You're always gonna come in on time, and then you get to eat good maybe afterwards, and you got all the power you need to go out there and put that slap down.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm not a weight cutter. I hate doing that. And I love doing this. I'll go out there and I'm just like, the guys are like about to go into weigh in. I'm just eating something like silver dollar pancakes or something right beforehand. Like, You guys good? You know, like, I could probably gain a couple pounds here.
You
You
got just
know,
chomping a piece of pizza.
hell yeah.
Slap somebody with those greasy hands.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that would be awesome. That'd be great marketing. That's a win right there.
Slap. This domino slaps. Yeah, something like that, man. That would be dope. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, listen,
So,
Alan, I appreciate you hopping on with us. I ran out of everything I had to ask you for this interview. Did you have anything you wanted to tell the fans?
let me ask you this question before we go. I know you're probably gonna go, but what made you interested in power slap? Well, what drew you in to be like, and especially to want to interview, somebody like myself? Like, what made you want to do that?
What's not to love, man? You get two adults standing face to face with each other, and it's just no flinching. You got a full on take that. I mean, what's not to love, dude? And then you get then you get people of personalities like yourself on there, and it's polarizing. It just draws you in. I
Oh,
mean,
thanks.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I don't. There's nothing not to love about it, and yeah. So it's one of those things where if I can make time for it, I'm always watching. It's fun. It's good fun.
Hell yeah, man. Well, well, hey, yeah, I guess the shout out would be I am competing in Mr. USA coming up at the end of August, basically. So between the 25th and the 31st. If you get a chance and you're interested, go ahead online and there's an opportunity to just look up Mr. USA. There's a link there you can click and you can choose to vote for me. You don't have to do that, of course. And then also, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, is the next episode of Power Slap Ropes and Title Season 3. You might see me on there, you might not. But the best part is it's going to be entertaining, like you just said. Two grown men getting up there and slapping the crap out of each other. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sir.
That's what's up, Alan. Appreciate it, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna cut this and then just stay on for a second so your end could upload. That way we can get the 4K quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Yeah. Whoa, dude. Where'd you get that totally throbular shirt from?
Funny you should ask. I got it from Panda MMA News merch store. We have all sorts of merch to choose from, including our brand new Live, Laugh, Throb shirt from episode 4. We have dog collars, dog beds, limited edition shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. So what are you waiting for? Come throb with us at PandaMMAnews.com. Just click the merch tab and check out all our great product.
Throbbing is known to cause health issues for both male and females above the age of 40. So do not use PandaMMAnews.com without prior doctor consent. Please throb responsibly.
All right, guys, we are joined here by John the Machine Davis, the middleweight champion of Power Slap. How's it going, my man?
Not too bad. Appreciate y'all having me on.
I appreciate you for joining us, man. I just kind of want to start right off the top. How did you get into Power Slap from powerlifting?
The powerlifting videos were more so like when I first started an Instagram, I wasn't putting anything there other than a space to save like workout stuff that I was doing at that time. Cause I didn't know it was going to turn into what it is now. So they took those clips when I first got in to Power Slap because they had the ability to go through what I had on there and use that stuff from Instagram. But it was the background that I kind of really got a level of intensity with at a certain time that kind of matched Power Slap's energy when I first got into it. And then, the technicality aspect of breaking down your body for being able to do all the maneuvers, I kind of tried to transfer over from that. You really have to feel yourself and understand your body mechanics to be able to, be good at the striking aspect of this.
Okay. My next question for this is, you were on the TV show, right? I feel like I remember seeing you on the show.
Yeah, season 1, the one that aired on TBS.
Okay, yes, that's the one that I saw you on. Excellent. So I wanted to make sure I had the right guy. I remember seeing you guys train all the slapping stuff, and I don't know. I'm kind of curious, like, what goes into the training of Power Slap? I mean, obviously everyone knows you sit there, you get slapped, but you have to practice, not stepping when you slap, not clubbing. Can you just kind of run us through like how you train that technique?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I can translate from the powerlifting thing again. But me personally, when you plant your feet you want it to feel almost like you're getting ready for like a deadlift, or you're getting set up for a squat, where you're in a comfortable position to still maneuver, whether you kind of angle your feet a certain way, but you have to be inside the parameters of a box that's on the ground for your feet to be set. But from there on out, you really kind of focus on, not only not pivoting, but there's a minimal heel lift allowed in the rule set. But if you're doing it in a perfect world, you want no heel lift at all, feet flat. And then from the legs up on, really using the torso to get the extra whip and power if you can, and then figuring out how you're comfortable holding your arm. Because if you really go through, especially as time goes on, you find, it might be minuscule things, but the technique of how someone's throwing, whether they're coming real low, whether they're coming down from the top, whether they're standing and using just their upper body, things that you kind of look at and go, wow, how did they generate that much power with, that kind of movement?
Okay. Yeah, I've always just kind of wondered, like, because I don't know, I did Muay Thai for 7 years, and you're in Muay Thai, you're taught to twist your hips and everything for the power of the punch. And after watching Power Slap, it's like having to retrain your brain in order to not twist your hips all the way with the swing. That just seems like a really difficult thing to grasp.
Yeah, that's where I think it ties in back to, like I was saying before, really knowing how you're, the feeling of your body when you're doing that. Because I don't know, we have to watch so that way we're not like blowing out our knees, because you're throwing with up top force so much. But that is why now they've added the minimal heel lift rules in, so that way, you're less likely to hurt yourself. Because especially on the bigger guys' end, it's if something tweaks up there, it's going to be a lot of man coming down sideways compared to back where they're supposed to be getting caught at.
Yeah.
Hey man, I've noticed the beard's gone. You got is the mullet gone too?
Yeah, I cut my hair a while ago, but I just shaved the other day because I know I'm going to have my beard back in time for when it starts to get cold. But what I've been doing is a machine operator is running like a 600-degree machine. So I've just been overly overheated the past couple of weeks. So I broke down and shaved a little bit, but literally by the next 3 days, it'll be in anyhow. It grows back super fast. I've got that superpower. So by the time I'm, if we did another interview in a month, it might as well be halfway back to what it was.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he shaves it off in between fights, and you got that extra padding for when you go in there for the power slap.
Usually once a year, I'll have the Britney moment breakdown and shave my beard compared to shaving my whole head. So
it's been a while since I did that, but hey, you've had some pretty awesome bouts so far in the power slap. Which one's been the most memorable for you?
The most pleasantly memorable would be the first one when I won the belt, because it was, a first round KO that I was the first middleweight champ ever. And that's, for the rest of history. So probably that one sticks out more. My first title defense against Wesley Drain sticks out because that's where I had hurt my shoulder and we had a real rough match the rest of the night anyhow. So, it was a rough night in the office, to say the least. So coming off of a great victory to having that definitely was not the funnest of times for me per se, because I really wanted it to be a lot more of a show. But I got to come back against Azael in a rematch, and that one, it went 5 rounds, so not nearly as memorable as the first one.
Okay, yeah, we were actually supposed to have him on today, but we're gonna get him next week. And so if you have anything you want us to relay to him,
we'll
be
show him a
happy
clip.
To do so.
No, shout out to him. He's a super chill dude. Other than being opponents up there at the podium, there's mad respect between us, especially when we're around each other out in public.
Yeah, speaking of being out in public, you're from Ohio, right?
Correct.
So is it like a small town?
Yeah, like where I originally from when I was a kid is way even more smaller than where I'm at now, but it's a bigger town for me, small town for everybody else.
Yeah, so when you go out in public now that you're the champion in power slap, are you getting people recognizing you and they're going, "Oh shit, it's freaking John Davis"?
No, a few people that I know. The one guy was more so from when he coached me in 3rd grade football and lived down the road from me. But other than that, it's just been a few people I know. But there's been other places where that's happened more so than around here. So hopefully it catches on soon. I think a lot of people know, but so much don't ask. I don't know.
Do you enjoy being in that space, or is it kind of new and kind of weird for you?
I mean, it kind of is what it is. I know it comes with the job. So, you know, if I happen to walk into Walmart and 13 people walked up to shake my hand or say hello or something, I'd definitely try and take the little bit of time I could offer to chat with them. So that would be super cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a come up story, it sounds like, for you, because going through your Instagram, it sounds like when you were younger, you were a bit of a hellion. You like to go out and party with the friends, and you went through your different ups and downs, you know, with things as people do. And so when people, you know, in your hometown, I guess maybe if they understood you as that person and then they see what you're doing today, I'm sure they're proud of you.
Oh yeah. And it's one of those things too, being, you know, coming with that wild side, when people are like, oh, that's what you signed up to do, especially when, you know, the ones who know me, they're like, oh, I'm not surprised. So that's usually, you know, they're like, it's just crazy to see someone from, you know, out where we're from out there in this big extravagant fight world and this scene that we have going on now.
Yeah, I kind of want to know, John, because they seem to usually have, like, you know, champions and whatnot as the coaches of Power Slap the show. When are you gonna get to be a coach? I want to see that.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I really wish that I could have been the coach on this season, but they, you know, there's a reason that they pick the people that they do for how they want to do things. So I think they've got some things going to be set up with the coaches that they had, and it's just fingers crossed that next season I get the call against, you know, whether it's someone in my weight class to go against, or someone else, since they did split weight classes this time, someone else to just go against to be on the show would be a real honor.
Yeah, I like when they keep in the same weight class, just because, you know, you get to see the coaches face off the end. And I feel like middleweight, just in general in combat sports, is kind of like the ideal weight class for anything. You know, you got the power, and you have everything else that comes with the middleweight class: stamina, cardio, all that. But middleweight just has always excited me. And whenever I saw that we were following each other on Instagram, that's why I sent you a message. I'm like, oh, the middleweight champ, let's go.
Hell yeah. And that's, you know, that's cool for me to see that people that I wouldn't have known otherwise are like, hey, we're interested in what you know, have going on in your story.
Yeah. So do you happen to know when you'll compete next? Obviously, if you sign a contract, you can't say anything. We won't grill you about it, but do you happen to know a date that you could share?
No, I don't have any information that I can share at the moment. I'm still waiting on, you know, verification phone call stuff. So nothing to announce yet, but I know as soon as I do, I'll post it on Instagram and kind of let everybody know the news once I am able to put it out there.
Yeah, man. I'm extremely looking forward to that. It's funny because I'm not one of those people that hated on Power Slap. Like I said, I watched from the first season, so I've getting to interview the champion of Power Slap out of all the Power Slap contestants first. That's a real honor for us. So thank you for joining us for that.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I see here that you began MMA training. Did you compete at all?
The only thing I had done was competed in jiu-jitsu, you know, 3 or 4 times. So I haven't got into the cage to fight yet, but that was definitely, it was the lead up to me finding Power Slap. So, you know, hopefully in the future I can really get back after that and get in there and do something. But I'm on this path right now, so I've got to take this journey as far as I can.
Okay. Have you thought about becoming a double champ?
Oh man, if they called and said, "Hey, do you want to try here?" I would absolutely say yes in a heartbeat.
Do you think you would go down, or would you move up, light heavyweight or welterweight?
I would, and I've said this in all my other interviews, I would prefer to go down to 170 first, then go back up, because I've come from the heavier weight. I think it would be easier for me to take the 2 lower ones at this point and, you know, be able to have a decent, because I'd like to at least defend both of them at the same time and then relinquish one, however it would work out, because I know that usually turns out to be the deal. But, you know, one win to take the belt, 1 defense, and then walk away from that weight class to slowly work my way back up over time.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to see that. We could actually have we could have the first double champ as an American if we got you to cross over. That I really hope you get that call. That'd be awesome. Hopefully it's not McGregor versus Diaz like Diaz wanted.
So what do you do outside of the cage? Or what do you do outside of Power Slap?
Right now, you know, working a lot, kind of staying busy. I haven't fought since last year, so it's kind of been a lull for action, to say the least. So, but normally train jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai when I can. I haven't been able to be in the gym for a while, but shout out to my gym, Next Level Alliance. That's where I was training for MMA or Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu, so that way I could try and get into the amateur MMA scene, and that's how I stumbled upon finding Power Slap.
How long did you do Muay Thai for?
About 3 years, off and on.
Okay. Did you do any smokers or anything?
No, not yet. Once I had really gotten into the Muay Thai part, because I was more towards the jiu-jitsu at the beginning of me going to the gym, I was just getting into Power Slap, so I kind of have stayed away from pushing the limits outside of where I'm at right now, other than the regular sparring that I was doing when I was going to the gym.
Yeah, I feel like Power Slap is probably the better way. I just feel like Power Slap, you get more eyes on it than Muay Thai, like a Glory or a one championship. I feel like, at least American wise, you're gonna get more eyes on Power Slap. Dana's always bragging about how it gets more views in the NFL. So,
oh yeah, I say quite a few interviews. He'll go over the stats for you.
Yep. Have you gotten to connect with Dana at all?
Yeah, if I send him a message on Instagram, he'll usually answer. Within a regular amount of time for people to communicate. Answer a question if I ask him one. And in person, he's just a legit dude. Because we've met him quite a few times from the beginning of the show on throughout the season. Every time I see him, when I have coach down at the Apex, he says hi, asks how everything's going and how I'm doing.
That's cool, man. So whenever matches are being made for Power Slap, who is the one that contacts you to make these matches? Is it Dana? Is it Hunter? Or is there another guy that organizes all this?
Some people might hear first from someone else, but normally we do have a matchmaker named Erica. She is in charge of that stuff. So, to the best of my knowledge, normally that's who gets a hold of you first, unless I haven't had too many people call me otherwise, other than to maybe like, hey, if this was an offer, what would you, think about taking that fight maybe once or twice? But other than that, I've always told them, I don't care who calls me or who tells me who I'm fighting or who it is, just call me, so that way we can keep the ball rolling.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I just got done watching Fight Inc. on what is it, Roku? And so I'm just curious on how the backgrounds of Power Slap is done. And like I said, you're the first Power Slap contestant we've talked to, and so I kind of wanted to pick your brain on that a little bit.
Of course.
So, really important question here is: are you a Chevy or a Ford guy?
Man, I've driven both. I've had a 5.0 Mustang, an F350, but I've also had a Chevy Monte Carlo, and I like all of them the same.
Okay, fair enough. So, next question would be Coors or Budweiser?
I don't know. I would say by the time when I was actually still drinking, I'd say Budweiser. I drank longer than I did Coors. I guess I almost did. I used to say I was going to get the crown tattooed on me from Budweiser. I'm glad I didn't.
That wouldn't age well, huh?
Hey, they're taking it back. They're not the sponsor of the UFC, so they're taking it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got Shane Gillis, man. Who can hate on anything that sponsors Shane Gillis?
Yeah, right? Dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he's definitely hilarious, man. Do you have anything else?
I appreciate you getting on with us, John.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate your time, man. If you could just stay on right after the call, just so your side can upload, so we can have that pretty 1080p quality, we'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you joining us, and I can't wait to see your next match. I will definitely be cheering for you. Yeah, hopefully we get to talk again.
Yeah, thank y'all very much again for having me on. It was a good time.
All right, guys. That was your champion, John Davis. That was we pre-recorded that from him. That was his physical roar.
You sure that wasn't your pussy throbbing?
No, you would have heard some moaning going on. It would have sounded more like this. It would have sounded way more like that.
Okay.
Let's
your
get
poor
into
neighbors.
Yeah, my poor neighbors. My neighbors are fucking tweakers. So let's be real here. I'm the poor guy in that situation.
They're so fucking high. They think they live in Santa Cruz.
Well, not to mention when I pull my pants down, it smells like a fish market also. So they're really fucking there. Where's it at? There it is. All right, so we got our first current event for you guys. I'm going to share my screen. I was going to go over these with Big Sloppy beforehand, but I decided not to. So these are his live reactions. Which one is it? Am I fucking? Oh, I am retarded. Okay. So we have Gabby Garcia vows to smash Craig Jones and shock the world in CJI super fight. If you guys didn't know, Craig Jones is going to go against a very large woman. Michael Bisping said that she is legit in jiu-jitsu. So did Anthony Smith. She's like 6'2". She's
looks like a giant.
And she admitted to using. She said that she used performance-enhancing drugs before. They have a little deal in place. Pretty much, if he submits her by heel hook, she has to do some content with him. I don't know, dude. Honestly, that's my first time seeing her physically, and she makes Craig Jones look like a toddler. So now I'm kind of curious. Now I kind of want to tune in a little bit.
I don't know if that was a camera angle, like a play on the angles or what, but she was looking big. I don't know,
she's
dude.
like 6'2", 6'3".
Wow. Yeah, dude. And who comes up with this shit, man?
Craig Jones. I
Oh,
don't know.
dude.
So I don't know if you've heard about this. So Craig Jones is
Nobody's
not a
beating
fan
Craig
of
Jones
Gordon Ryan.
other than Gordon Ryan.
Okay, we're on the same page. But anyways, little backstory to this. So he's not a fan of ADCC because ADCC has I believe it's a $10,000 win for whoever wins the tournament, and they wanted him to compete in it, and he was like, okay, well, pay me more money, and I will. They refused. They said they can't, but yet they're selling out the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. So they're making a shit ton of money, and they just don't want to give it to the athletes. So he came out with his own tournament. It's called the CJI. He's in charge of it. There's I think it's $1 million payday to whoever wins. It is the same day as ADCC within a few hours of each other in the same city in Vegas. So he made this event to say fuck you to ADCC.
Love that. Wasn't he talking about that on the Rogan Experience?
I tuned in a little bit to that one, not too much, just because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm an MMA fan, but jiu-jitsu, outside of doing it is kind of fucking boring. It's like watching golf, so I'm paying attention to the jiu-jitsu world too much. Yeah, so let's get into the next current event. This one I don't really need to share my... What?
I was going to say, did you hear about Dana White talking about Conor McGregor's UFC return? December is the date.
Okay, motherfucker, I'm about to get into that. That's literally what I'm about to say.
Well, get to it then.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you piece of shit, but you interrupted me. Anyways, so now that Big Cuck gave away the news, Dana White announces Conor McGregor won't fight in 2024. He will be fighting next year. Conor McGregor responded saying, wrong, December works for me. Does it work for you? I haven't heard a response from Dana yet. Sure, we'll hear it at the 305 press conference. But, however, Chandler said that he's not waiting. The sport's going to move on past him, so he's done waiting. That's actually the next current event I have lined up. He reacts to the update. He said the sport will move on and thrive without you, which is true because we haven't had Conor McGregor in years, and guess what? Dana's doing just fine. He's making all the money still. So I don't think having Conor is definitely a plus, but I don't think losing Conor is necessarily a negative. There's enough talent and enough superstars now that UFC doesn't need him.
They haven't needed him, bro. Like, he's irrelevant. But at the same time, he's just fucking that little Irish guy and fucking talking all the shit. And people are like, they're like, this Mr. Krabs motherfucker, is he actually gonna come back and fight or what? Chandler would have whooped his ass. I really hope he doesn't fight Max Holloway. If he fights Max Holloway, that's gonna end up even worse off for him, I think.
Who, Chandler or McGregor?
McGregor. If McGregor fought Max Holloway.
Oh yeah, because they both wanted Max Holloway. If McGregor has a much higher chance of knocking out Chandler, which is a very unlikely chance. But he has a much higher chance of doing that than even remotely competing with Max Holloway at this current point in his career. Max Holloway, especially because Max Holloway is just entering his prime, dude. Max Holloway's going to smoke McGregor. It's not even going to be a competition. He dealt with Gaethje's power just fine.
I'm with it, dog. I'm with it.
So that brings us to our next current event. Dana White has officially shut down any chance of John Jones versus Alex Pieta. He was on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat McAfee asked him if there's any chance we'll get to see that fight. And Dana just responded, no. And that's it. So we're not going to get to see it. We're not going to see John Jones versus Aspinall probably. John Jones has said that he's retiring after this fight, which is sad because I'd love to see him versus Aspinall or even Alex Pieta. But that's where that ends, I guess. Hopefully, though, you know, when him and Stipe step down and Tom is actually the undisputed champion, maybe then we'll see Alex move up, fight Tom. Personally, I'd rather see Tom versus Alex anyways. For one, they're both... Well, Alex is a little older. Alex, I think, is 37, but they're both at the top of their game. They're both doing big shit, making big headlines, both fucking knockout after knockout. I think I honestly think that's more of a fun fight for the fans than John Jones versus Pieta, because we all know the game plan. John Jones is going to take Pieta down. He's going to take him down. He's going to hold him down. He's going to elbow him to shit, and that's going to be the fight. Unless somehow Alex Pieta, lands that left hook. I just don't see John giving that opportunity. I think John's too smart of a fighter to crowd Alex enough to where that left hook could land. John is very good at fighting at a distance.
Well, to your point, yeah, he's definitely not going to let an opponent play into his strengths. Look what he did with Cyril Gahn. He knew he might be mismatched a little bit on the feet. So as soon as he got an opportunity, he took his ass to the ground and got him up against that cage and throttled out. And fucking whiskey throttled his way into a victory pretty quick.
Yeah, and this leads me to the question of, this isn't me talking shit. This is more like from the fans' perspective. What are they going to think? If John retires, let's say he beats Stipe, he retires. You have Tom Aspinall, who is the interim champion, waiting the wings. Are people gonna hold that against Aspinall, saying you're only the champion because John retired, or are people gonna hold that against John, saying you retired because you're running from Aspinall?
That's a really good point, because I can definitely see that coming up in conversation, which will actually lead to an opportunity for both men, because that's got a lot of money written on it when you get people start talking like that, right?
It already has a lot of money on it, dude. There's not a person on this earth that wants to see Stipe versus John over Aspinall versus John. That's the fight to make. You have an interim champion. And I'm not the UFC, I'm not John Jones, I'm not Aspinall. I can't make that fight. But I personally would rather see that. I'd rather see the GOAT versus the rising up-and-comer who's starching everyone, and see if that goatness translates into a higher weight class and into, an older age group.
Dude, here's a hot take here. I really don't see it working out this way, but if somehow Stipe did win that fight, he might be the guy to go, you know what? I'll fucking fight him. I'll fight Tom. No, you don't.
Stipe came out and said, he said, win or lose, this is his last fight. He's 42. He's retiring.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just came out like a week ago and said that. So, and honestly, I agree, because he hasn't fought since he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou, which was in 2020, 4 years ago now. So, if he hasn't fought in that long, I don't think anything else is going to bring him out of retirement. I think he's doing this because it's the GOAT versus, the GOAT at heavyweight. So, that's a money fight. It is a money fight, 100%. Should it be for a title? I don't think it should be for a title, but it is. So it is what it is. That's pretty much it on that matter. I have nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, let's keep it that way, bitch.
Watch your fucking mouth, bitch. Daddy will come over there and I'll spank you.
You'll fucking do nothing.
I'll fucking spank you, bitch.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Daddy. I'll bring out the dad voice. But yeah, so that's it, guys. We will have
knee and spank you.
Stop living your sexual fantasies on this podcast, dude. This is about MMA, not your sexual fucking deviances. But we do have we're gonna have a special episode coming out for you guys off our normal schedule. Normally it's Tuesday or Mondays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. as you guys know by now, or at least you should fucking know if you hit the subscribe button. You would know. But we are going to do a special episode just because we have too many interviews to fit these all on these podcasts. So we have an interview with Devin Jackson. More than likely, we're thinking Saturday right now. It'll come out probably Saturday around noon. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but that's what it's looking like. If not Saturday, it'll be Friday evening. So keep a lookout for that. Devin Jackson is an up and comer. He, like I said, he trains with Ali Pellegrini and Brent Campbell. So he's part of that mercenary team over there in Washington, and they're doing big things. And you guys will like the interview. So make sure you tune in. Until then, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Like this fucking video. If you don't, I'll find you. Make sure you also follow us on TikTok at Panda MMA News. Follow us on X at Panda MMA News. Follow us on Instagram at Panda MMA News 1. And if you're not already, we are on millions.co. They are the leading sports industry for podcasts. Plenty of athletes on there. We have merch on there also on top of our other merch site. So check us out on that. I'll tag the link in the video. So make sure you check out, show some love, and don't be. Never mind. I wanted to go something else right there, but I'm not gonna say it. But yeah. So don't be fucking virgins. Later.
Later.